Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Fusion Body Studio. Today we have Brice and we have Jennifer. And today, how are you both going?
Good.
Good. Good. Today we are going to ask some questions and answers about exercise and different things that come up. So we'll get started with what was the first question? It was about your neck, Jennifer.
Yes. So this goes back to an old childhood injury that I kind of forgot about because I'm kind of trying to piece things together with my body and injuries and whatnot. So when I was about 8 or 9 years old, I got bucked off a horse and my head hit a rock. And ever since then, I've got like this. If I straighten my neck, it'll kind of kink over. But I kind of forgot about that. And then for quite a couple decades, I'd go get massages, and that helped a lot. Well, I haven't gotten a massage in a few years because I've just kind of I did different healing modalities and things like that. But now it's kind of coming back, and I had a few stiff necks. So I'm like, well, this is interesting because this is something I obviously never dealt with, but the massage obviously pacified it for a long time.
Uh-huh.
So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that and see what your insight was with that, because that exiting of that horse has kept my is a reminder in my body
Yes.
to
This is
this
a lot.
day.
This is the kind of the same thing as like Paula talked about a while ago on your bicycle when you were a
Yeah.
kid, right?
Yeah.
These
Yes.
injuries happen. Okay, so first of all, what you're experiencing, and I love when people ask questions because sometimes people ask a question, and if you just ask any question, even if you think it's a stupid, there's no such things as stupid questions, right? Sometimes there's stupid answers, but sometimes and ask away because you never know who else that is going to help too.
Yeah.
So what you're talking about, Jennifer, is incredibly normal. This happens to almost every single human on the planet. Now, your neck injury, you know exactly where it came from, just like Paula's injury when she was on a bike. Sometimes we have little kinks and injuries in our body where we don't know where it came from. But at the end of the day, and this is where it's going to get a little bit woo-woo. This is where my spiritual background comes from, okay? So we could talk about the practicality of injuries just reappearing in the body from a physical perspective and also from an emotional and mental perspective. So everything that happens to us within our body is a karmic reaction. Now, once again, I want to remind our audience watching, I know our students at Fusion Body Studio are getting better at this. In the Western world, we do not understand what karma means. In the Western world, we just associate karma with a reaction to something bad that's happened. So if I tell Jennifer it's a karmic reaction, a lot of times Westerners are going to think they're being called a bad person. That couldn't be further from the truth. Okay. All karma is, my friends, is cause and effect. That's all it is. Karma is neither good nor bad. It's just the rule of Prakriti, the rule of nature where, you know, I make it very simple sometimes. I drink a lot of water. What's the karma of drinking a lot of water? I have to pee a lot. I'm also hydrated. Something simple, right? But that's a cause and effect. So when we look at the human body, the template, and we look at exercise from a spiritual perspective, we come into this world with a map in our body of things we need to work on, right? That's how the soul is refining itself. Now, don't kid yourself. If you're in a human body, you still have karma. You still have stuff you have to work on and as my teacher would say, like that's where it's fascinating, right? Where there's pain and weakness, that's where it's actually super interesting, right? So that's one thing I want everybody who's dealing with, whether it's a knee issue, a hip issue, an elbow, a neck issue. I have bad neck issues too. I got a very tight neck. That's where I carry a lot of my stress is my neck.
Yeah. Me too.
So I want you to not be afraid of this area. I want you to understand that every single person in the world has something in their body that's constantly flaming up and coming back up again. It's
Mhm.
normal. And that this is just part of your learning curve. And so, for example, if you've had knee injuries, let's say you had a knee injury when you were a kid, and that knee injury keeps flaming itself back up again in your exercise. Well, it's going to. First of all, don't kid yourself. Any of your past injuries, when you start exercising, is going to show its head again. So how do we handle that? Well, first of all, we were talking about this earlier, Paula, with Jason. All an injury is asking you to do is redirect your energy. So we're going to start to look at your exercise a little bit differently. Now, the reason why your neck is inflamed again or somebody's knee is inflamed again, it's because, yes, you're right, the massages were pacifying it. They weren't fixing it. They weren't correcting it. Why is that? Now, massages are great. I love a good massage. It's great to help you recalibrate. But if you are relying on a massage therapist or a Reiki healer to do all the work to heal something, the karma's not going anywhere. It's just going to hunker down even deeper because you're the one that has to revisit this. Now, with exercise, we have what we call, now let's talk about the physical because this is where they kind of meet, right? We have patterning in our body. So the way you walk, the way that you move your hips, you see people's gait. Like some people, like my boyfriend, if he and his mother are walking together behind, they walk exactly the same. Like he inherited the way he walks from his mother, right? So we've had these patternings that were born, and these patternings aren't necessarily bad, it's just a patterning. But sometimes those patternings don't serve us anymore. Now, when you have an injury, your body is going to create a pattern around that injury. Okay? So what happens is to survive, your body has created a pattern around that neck injury, right? So that you can survive with this pain. Now, sometimes the body's amazing, but sometimes it's going to try to take the path of least resistance. And I think that has more to do with the mind, actually. The mind is directing the body. So now when you might say, well, Brice, this was an accident. She accidentally fell off the horse. Well, is it?
No.
Was Paula's bike accident an accident? Was her bike accident an accident, or was it something that was pre-planned to trigger a reaction within the body? I fell off a horse once too. I didn't hit my head. So what was that called? What was in Jennifer's infinite knowledge of her soul? Why did this? What side of the neck is it?
It's like, yeah, it's the whole neck. It's the whole back
Neck.
cranium. I hit here, so I guess the right side.
Yeah. So there's a
Yeah.
particular trigger point that was hit where karma now
Oh,
lives.
where what
Okay.
lives?
Karma lives.
Oh, okay.
A lesson lives there. A refinement lives there. So you to take your power back with these injuries. Okay. These injuries are interesting because there's information there. Now, with the physical, Jennifer's body has made it so she gets some massages, didn't bother her. It's just there. It's something that's there. However, there's a new a pattern that's been engraved. Now she's doing workouts now, so she's moving the body in a different way. And I'm not talking about just the neck. I'm talking about she's strengthening her back muscles. She's strengthening her arm muscles. These all connect and rise up through the neck. So new patterns are being created in Jennifer's body. So now these new patterns are hitting up against this old pattern from this old injury in her neck. And so it's coming to the surface. Now, a lot of people when this happens will run and hide. They don't want to do it anymore. If that's the response, you can do that, but you're probably going to be coming back to earth, right? I'll tell you, we had a guy at AYA that has back issues, and he would be practicing for 3 months, and his back would start to hurt again. Then he would take a couple months off. Then he'd come back and practice for 3 months. Back would hurt again. Take a couple months off. And my boyfriend was finally like, "You can't keep doing this. You can't keep. Nothing is going to change unless you stick it out. When your
Okay.
back starts hurting, you need to let me know, and we need to work with it and push through it." Now you might say, but Brice is Jennifer's neck. That is a very serious part of the body. However, what she's doing is not going to like decapitate her, right? So my suggestion to Jennifer would be to continue to work as she's working, but to acknowledge and to notice the exercises. So let's say she's doing a bar fusion class and she's got 2 pound weights, and when she lifts her right arm up to work that, I'm just making a deltoid, let's just say that's when she starts to recognize, oh, this is now triggering this. I'm just making that up. I don't know if that's what's triggering it, but that's for Jennifer because Jennifer's in her own body. So she's the only one that can feel that
Mhm.
and figure out, okay, so there's a patterning here. It's not the exercise that's doing it, it's the formation of a new patterning. So, from the woo-woo perspective, I would then tell Jennifer that she needs to sit down and really look at energetic anatomy. What does that particular point of the vertebrae in the neck or the tendon that's there, what does that energetically mean? Because every bone, every muscle, every organ also represents something energetically. And if she's reading something and she's like, but that doesn't really make sense, I would tell her to investigate. And this is something she has to do on her own, right? Because she's the one that's living her karma. I can make assumptions as a teacher, but I'm not ever going to have the full story because I'm not in Jennifer's karma. So this is where the student whole, it's like the bringing, I can bring the horse to water. I can tell Jennifer these are the exercises, but she's the one that's got to drink. So let's say though that whatever the energetic responses in the neck is just not resonating with her. Like, okay, then let's peel the onion back a little bit more. So remember I said there's a certain exercise that's triggering that patterning. So let's say it's this one with the weight. We do this a lot in the bar fusion classes. I'm just using this as an example, guys. Again, this could not be the reason why it could be something totally different. But let's say we follow the line of energy through the arm up into the deltoid. So we start to look at the anatomy of all the muscles being used in this particular movement where Jennifer's starting to notice that's where the pain starts. So now we got to look at all these muscles and say, what do these muscles represent? What does the deltoid represent? What does the rhomboid represent? Because that might be where the answer lies. The answer might not be in the neck. It could be in the neck, but it might not be in the neck.
Oh,
Yeah, I have a feeling it's my shoulder blades and my right shoulder.
Okay, I want to highlight this. So the
I'm
minute I
writing things.
started talking about that, she immediately said, it's in my right shoulder blade. Guys, that's because she's in her karma. So I would, as a teacher, I especially on Zoom, I can't. Sometimes you could feel where, and as a teacher, like a student might say, like, "Oh let's say she said my neck hurts." I might adjust her and feel something in her shoulder blade, so I might have a little bit of knowledge from that. But because Jennifer is open to hear this, she instinctively knew. Once I said it might not be the neck at all, it could be her right shoulder blade.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I want to mention something. In one of your exercises, you do the swing and forward 8 times and back 8 times. That's been a miracle for me, like to get my shoulders to open up. So, um, yeah, I need to do those. I mean, those are in some, I mean, you have them in a lot of your exercises, but I need to just do those in the morning, you
If I have
know.
space here, I want maybe if you girls have more space than I do. So I did this in a workshop
Yeah,
once. Did this
yeah.
on I do this in my live classes sometimes. There's a reason why I do the swinging thing. I'm warming up your rotator cuff, but I also want you to feel the release of tension. So if you put your arms, everybody watching right now, if you put your kids will love this. This is a fun game to do with your kids. If you put your arms out, you're going to see that your fingers are at the same length. When you swing one arm, I don't have the space to do it here because I have a wall right here. If you swing your one arm around 8 times and then put it out, I'm gonna exaggerate. It's gonna be a lot further forward after you do it.
mhm,
And that just in doing swinging your arms 8 times is gonna show how much tension just released in
mhm.
that one. It's a warm-up exercise we do, right?
And it,
That's why
in
sometimes I
this
have you
clip,
hold weights and twist.
that, yeah, that,
Mhm,
see, these are all kind of, but even my right shoulder clicks. It clicks
Yes.
and
wow.
cracks, where my left doesn't. That's
And
interesting.
that was an instinct of
Something.
yours. Right? So use your instinct, guys. You are in your body. So Jennifer had an instinctual response when I said it might not be the neck, and she goes, "I think it's because she's already starting to observe these things in her body,
Mhm,
these subtle body responses." Yeah. And every single human is going to be different. Okay. What my karma is not what Paula and Jennifer's karma is. What your karma is not my karma. We're going to be doing the same work, but there's going to be different subtle body responses. So that clicking she's feeling, and the more you do the work, the more you're going to drop into that subtle body response, right? The more you're going to feel. My sacrum still clicks from when I broke it. So when I do deep twisting, you can't hear it on the videos because of the music, but it freaks my boyfriend out sometimes. Like, and when I'm in a Mysore room practicing, you can hear my sacrum, especially in a posture called Pashasana. It's the first posture of second series. When I twist to the left as a deep twist, you hear a pop. in my sacrum. It doesn't hurt anymore. It used to hurt when I was had it, but it doesn't hurt anymore. And it's just a leftover from my sacrum being broken. You know, the interesting thing for me when my sacrum broke is that I've always struggled with like the pelvic region. I've always struggled with the first chakra, Muladhara. So it makes sense that my body would have a weakness there that would allow for that break to happen. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And do you think that also just kind of tuning into what emotion is coming up? So like sometimes when I've tried to do the forward folds and stuff like that, and I'll just try and tune in to be like, okay, what am I feeling right now? And what has come up for me, like in my legs, is that I just feel a lot of frustration. And then I realize, okay, I'm actually holding a lot of anger in there. And then it's just kind of like, and I've cried and stuff like that, and just had different things come up. And then I realized that I was angry about life and about the way certain things had turned out for me. Um, and it all just kind of just came flowing when I just kind of paused for the moment while I was doing the exercise to just kind of tune in to what emotion was coming up when I was feeling that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's like for people who don't understand the mind-body connection,
Hmm.
okay, when people get really stressed out and they have knots where they say, I need a massage, I'm stressed.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's
Yes.
mind-body connection. You've recognized that your body is holding stress.
Hmm.
Now Jennifer knows where the neck injury started in this life, like what triggered it, we'll say. It was already there. That weakness was already there,
Yeah.
right? But she knows the trigger. That little horse made a little contract with her that that little horse would help her trigger this karma. That's the woo-woo side of it, right? But for my audience, I want to make this very clear. Even though Jennifer remembers where it starts, it doesn't necessarily matter that you remember what caused something.
Yeah.
Okay? What matters is what Paula just hit on, the emotions coming out of that. So I would say that to Jennifer too, when she feels her neck tweaking, what emotions are coming up for her?
Like I'm gonna die.
Well, that's
Because
the neck, right?
I'm sure that's what I was thinking as I was flying through the air, watching that rock come closer.
Yeah.
Well, the neck
I
is
was
also your
8 or
fifth
9 years
chakra.
old.
It's
I'm
your
sorry.
voice. It's also your fifth chakra, so it holds your voice.
I didn't think about that.
It's
Mm.
also part of the spine, so it's the neck is part of the spine. The eyes are the tops of the spine. So this is a very delicate part of the spine because it's getting up into the area of what we call wisdom. So the voice that connects up into the wisdom. So let's say that Jennifer is able to drop, because usually people struggle with dropping to the lower chakras, right? That's usually where the big struggle is. But let's say Jennifer, let's say she's doing really great. She's dropping into her lower chakras. She's working through her humanity. She's gotten to her heart's great because also you can look at the anahata because the shoulder blades are part of anahata.
And that goes, I think, maybe could tie into the low blood pressure, all of that. It's all
Yeah,
tying up together
all
like a
tied
little.
together. Yeah. So that the anahata, which is the heart chakra, it's not just the front of the body, it's also the back of the body too,
Yeah.
you know? So
And
I would suggest to Jennifer as well, because she's already doing the physical work. So she's already doing the physical work. She's doing her part. She's putting her effort in. So I would also have her do, and you can actually, I do this with people all the time. I have taken my Reiki trainings, so I am technically, but I never use, I took those trainings for me to understand prana better as a yoga teacher. So I don't advertise. I don't work on people with Reiki. I'm yoga. I know Paula does Reiki. Jennifer, are you Reiki trained as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
of
but what you
course I
can
don't.
do I don't, I mean, Paula uses it. I just used it to for my own knowledge when I did the training, just to help me
Yeah.
be a better my tool is teaching yoga, right?
Yeah.
But something you can do if you have a friend who's Reiki trained or a yoga teacher friend who understands this, someone Jennifer trusts. It has very important. This has to be somebody that Jennifer absolutely trusts so that she can be vulnerable with this person. Another exercise I would suggest her do, have a friend, a teacher, a healer that she trusts, take their hands, their hands together really fast so they create their own sense of prana. And she knows they're going to be not using this power in a malicious way. And then Jennifer's going to sit, and the friend's going to put one hand not touching her heart above her heart, and the other hand behind the back like this. And is going to hold it there and deeply breathe while Jennifer allows that sensation to come through. And Jennifer can then read. This is real woo woo. So for our people who are not into this, you're not going to like this assignment, but for those who believe in energy work, because Jennifer's already doing the work, right? So I would suggest right after you finished your practice, your workout, when your prana is flowing, have a friend sit and do that with you and let you feel for a moment and just let whatever comes up come up as information.
Mm-hmm.
Don't judge it. So if you start crying, that's fine. If you've, but even in that emotion, just ask your heart chakra, what do you need to tell me
Oh
about my
boy.
shoulder? What am I missing?
That could
Where's
be
my
a
blind spot
good
here?
question.
Well,
You might
I
have to do this quite a few times.
this is just
Yeah.
crazy, Bryce, because this is literally what I did today. So when I had
Oh,
my workout today with Jason, I started to struggle to breathe, and it felt like I had asthma, and I don't have asthma. That's not an issue, but I think it's just because I've been sick for the last couple of weeks. I've just been fighting a bit of a cold. And I was doing certain exercises, and it was mainly when I was like lifting the weights up, and I was kind of doing some squats, and I was kind of coming back up, and the up and down movement was making it hard for me to breathe, and I just felt all this pressure on my chest and all this tightness, and like I started crying because I couldn't help it, and I tried to tune in. I was like, okay, what's going on here? Like, what am I feeling? And I realized it's just it for me, it was the pressure of life. And I just felt like it was too much. It was just suffocating me. And I was like, okay, wow. Like I'm clearly just I've been putting too much pressure on myself lately. And I'm like, okay, wow, I really need to work with that. So when I got home, I ended up running myself a bath, and then because we like to do the post-workout meditations, but this time I just kind of did my own little meditation. I just kind of made up myself, and I went to my happy place. Um, and in my happy place, and my happy place is like a beautiful waterfall, and there's plants and beautiful flowers because I love flowers, and there's a little deer because I don't know why, but there's a deer there. And then today I just imagined that little me that has been quite abandoned was there, and I was just giving little me just everything that little me wanted, like reading
Yeah.
stories and just having a picnic on the grass and just being there, and then just yeah, and taking all that pressure off myself. And honestly, I felt so much better afterwards. But yeah, I really feel like when this stuff comes up in our workouts, it can be very easy to just kind of push past it and just be like, oh yeah, I don't want to go there. But there's a lot of valuable information and healing when we are willing
Yeah.
to tune in to feel, okay, yes, I'm feeling this, but where's this coming from? Like, why am I feeling this way? Yeah.
And that's what the workout's for. That's it's to show
Mhm.
you these things.
Yeah.
So, and most people run from it.
Yeah.
They don't want to address
yeah.
it. They run from it, disassociate from it. And ideally, you could, Jennifer, just ask your body during the workout or during the post-workout what's going on. But using that Reiki, that's when it amplifies it a little bit,
Uh-huh.
you know? And you can also do it with the neck as well with the two hands. That's a little bit more vulnerable because you're going to feel the presence of hands close to your neck. So you really have to trust
Oh,
that person. That might be a good exercise actually, if
Okay.
that's some secure. I know that I have issues around. I
oh,
don't like wearing like turtlenecks or things around my neck. I have issues. I get very freaked out about that. So if you have somebody,
yeah.
you have to really trust them. It's a trust game. You can have
Yeah.
someone press their thumb into your third eye while also placing a hand right above your head
Hmm.
because we're looking at
Wow.
the brain that's coming into the brain as well. And all the physical is a manifestation. So in spirituality, what came first, the chicken or the egg? In all spiritual and religious beliefs, that's the one thing we all have in common. We believe consciousness came first. The spirit came first. The spirit created the matter.
Hmm.
And so that matter is a representation of what that consciousness wanted to refine, right? We can't refine things unless there's friction. That's how it works here in this planet of ours. We have opposing forces, right? That opposing force causes friction. Friction is not comfortable,
No.
right? If things were totally comfortable and just laissez-faire, we would never grow and
What would we,
evolve.
yeah, we'd be really, yeah.
It'd be boring.
Yeah, it would.
Right? So that would be so if you're struggling with something like Jennifer, you can do it just by working out and asking your body because But if Jennifer, because I know she's very familiar with spiritual work and energy healing, it might be a good idea for her to up the ante just a little bit and
I
use
think that's a great plan. Thank you for suggesting that. I would have never
absolutely
thought.
workout first. Do your workout first, just so you get your energy, your blood flowing, your oxygen, your prana moving actively in your body, so that during that session, the body is more attuned to releasing.
Mhm. And do you think in Jennifer's situation, because she's got all of her beautiful sound bowls, she could even play
Yeah.
like a heart chakra? Um,
It might take her playing around because again, like I said, just because the pain is here,
yeah,
this might not be where the actual problem is. This might just be where you're just feeling it.
yeah.
So she's
I
gonna have
actually,
to play around.
yeah, it's this last week or so, we're kind of moving into fall and winter here in my region. So I've been really eager to be outside. So I've actually
Yeah.
been doing a lot of walking and like jogging and a little bit of running. I'm getting a little pace in there, but yeah, I come back and I, like you said the other day, you kind of did your own thing and drew a bath. Well, I've been doing some bowls more and kind of
Yeah.
just trying to just mix things up. And so yeah, I'll have to, but now that I kind of, yeah, kind of piece some puzzle pieces together, maybe that'll
I would
work.
suggest too, even doing some Reiki on the some herbs. You can sit with your spine straight up against a tree and see what's going on in the lower back as well. There could be something all the way down at the base of the spine that's not actually, she's feeling it here. That's why I'm saying it's going to be an exploratory thing for her, right? Like surgeons do exploratory surgery when they're not sure where an issue in the patient is coming from. She's doing exploratory spiritual surgery. All right, body, you're trying to tell me something. I know I had this injury. I know that's there. But I know now that it's not about the injury, it's about something within me that I came here to refine. I have a veil. I went through a veil. So I'm going to start to explore, body. I need you to tell me when I hit the jackpot so that I can move forward with refining this. And so you're going to have to be open. I have really bad left hip issues. I've always had really, really bad left hip issues. Oh my God, that's my just dud hip. I'm right-handed, but so usually your dominant hand is where you're tighter. My right hip, my right leg goes back behind my head so much easier than my left hip, which it should be the opposite, right?
Interesting.
When my first trip to India, I was like, my left hip, my left hip, my left hip. So I finally went to an energy healer. Turns out my left hip's not the problem. It's my right shoulder.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
I recall you mentioning that in different, I think it was the access classes you talked about how, yeah, that's very
Energy
interesting.
cross connect.
Mhm.
So what was
Yeah.
happening, I didn't even see it. I didn't even notice this about myself until the energy healer. Sometimes my shoulders will look like this, will be a little bit off.
Yeah.
I'm exaggerating right now, but sometimes it's a little bit, and all this issues when I run, sometimes I get pain in this collarbone. I've noticed that since I was a little kid. Just a
Wow.
little bit of pain right here in this collarbone. But as an adult, it was really showing up in my left hip. So I was thinking it's a mommy issue because your left hip, that's feminine energy. So I'm here trying to heal a mommy issue. No, it was a daddy issue in my right shoulder. The left hip was just taking the beating for it. So sometimes I'm using that as an example. Sometimes where we think the issue is
Mhm.
not where the issue is. And sometimes we need an outside teacher or healer that can work with that energy to say, actually, and the minute the healer said it's your right shoulder, it's not your left hip, it was like Jennifer was like, oh, my shoulder blade. I was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. I was like,
Mhm.
there was no, it never occurred to me before, but the minute he said that, it was like it resonated. I was like, you're right. It's not my poor left hip is taking the beating for something going on in my right shoulder. So we started working with my shoulder. When we started working with my shoulder, I would go into practice with tape. I would use, you can do that too. You can use this type of tape. It's really strong. You can get it at any athletic store that like holds the tendons and ligaments into place. So every morning I would have the person tape my shoulder, energetically tape it so it would hold my body basically in place, which is holding an energetic path. It's holding a physical body, but it's also holding an energetic pathway so that when I went to do my practice, my right shoulder was then forced to not to actually do the work so that my left hip could feel relief. And I
Wow.
could actually start to work on what. So it's another thing you can do. Once you figure out what's going on, and I'm sure you can find YouTube tapes. It's not going to hurt you, this tape, even if you tape yourself wrong, it's not going to hurt you. You can get a particular athletic tape. A lot of runners use it for their knees. She might have to tape her neck up in a weird way just to hold it, to give it that support so that this new energy can come in and start to change the patterning.
So interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Never
Yeah,
thought of that. Thank
it's
you.
fascinating. This is when people run from their injuries, I'm like, why? This is the most
Yeah.
interesting journey you're ever going to
Yeah.
go on. Like, it's not going to be boring. Trust me, it's not going to be boring. And that's what your body is giving you little clues. And you have a veil, so of course, having that veil over you, you don't actually know at the full extent of what your body's trying to work on. That's the fun of it. That's the game, right, of third density. So yeah. And if that's happening for anybody watching, make sure you communicate with your teacher, your healer, or your trainer that that's going on
Mm-hmm.
just so they're aware of how to adjust you or how to work with you because we're not going to when saying that we're not going to take Jennifer's neck and just beat it up. We're going to still do the work, but we're going to work with the neck in a little bit different of a way. We're going to be very intuitive with the neck and we're going to let her neck be the center of attention so the neck can actually clarify where this is coming from.
Yeah, it's so good.
And one other thing I wanted to ask you, kind of when we do in the fusion class, when you do the back bend, which I can do a little back bend. I'm no pro, but and you say to drop the head back first, right? Like a slinky.
Yep.
I get dizzy from that.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
normal.
wanted
That happens a lot. That's normal. You're just going to have to work through it.
like
Don't
rid
go
of that
back
head
as
feel,
far.
that compression and stuff.
That's normal. That happens with everybody. That's just equilibrium. So, like, I do it with my hands by my ears. I go back because I've been doing drop backs for 19 years, right? So I'm used
Yeah.
to it. But when you first start dropping back into a back bend, that's the hardest part is getting yourself to find that equilibrium because you're going upside
So
down. You're also stretching. Now, the most important part of that is the throat. So it's stretching that vagus nerve.
it feels
So, like,
so nice.
yeah, like so back bending is stomach opening. That's what back bending is. It's stomach opening. Forward folding is back opening,
Mm.
right? So we're stretching that out, the whole front body open. Now, so for Jennifer, if she's still having that or anybody, so for people who are used to doing drop backs, you can keep your arms by your ears, no problem. But if you're experiencing some dizziness, hands to your lower back and don't go back as far. Take some breaths and let yourself slowly start to go back so you find that equilibrium. And over time, it's going to go away. The dizziness is going to go away.
Yeah.
That's just going to, you just have to be patient with that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Does that
that's
make
good.
sense?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how
So,
I do it. I just do it with my hands behind
hands
my
on your
back.
back, no problem. Especially in the beginning, all I'm doing in that is really just trying to stretch your core anyway.
Hmm.
Get
Yeah.
some
It's
blood
usually
flow.
Are the best.
I'm warming up your core.
That's
Yeah.
kind of good for chest opening as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all the same thing. So,
Yeah.
so in yoga, and I think in dance as well, I think we share this with dance. The core is mid neck down to mid thigh and mid shoulders. So it's your whole torso, your back, your stomach, your sides. That's so when I say core, it's everything that's in the torso.
Hmm.
Yeah, so it's the heart, it's everything. So you want to actually like really open this top just to get that blood flow going in there, especially at the beginning. When we do that at the beginning, it's just to really get blood into that area. So when you release and come up, the blood runs in and we're prepped to do the weights. So you've got that nutritious blood in there supporting the muscles. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I
I
have
just wanted,
what?
oh, sorry. I was going to
Go
say,
ahead.
I just wanted to ask you a question. So I was talking to someone the other day about this, and I was like, oh, I have to ask Bryce because I'm not sure. So, like, if you're kind of newish to getting into exercise and wanting to exercise regularly, do you think it's better to kind of do maybe like a shorter kind of exercise every single day? Or would it be better to do a more intense, longer workout every second day?
Depends on the person. If you're completely new to exercise, in the beginning, I would want you to create a habit. So I would do shorter exercises more
Okay.
days in a row just to create that habit to get you used
Yeah.
to it. And then over time, we would start
And
adding
the
some longer
fitness
ones into
increases.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I never do anything less than an hour for me. That's just I mean, I have to remind myself sometimes to make like 30-minute videos because I'm so used to it.
Okay.
But yeah, I would say like nothing less than 20, 30 minutes. Because if you do anything less than that, nothing's gonna happen. And you're not
Right.
gonna change. So find 20, 30 minutes of a class, do it, multiple times a week because you're setting a habit. You're getting your body used to doing this.
Hmm.
And then after about a month, we'll take one or two of those days and we'll add an hour workout in. So you've got like 1 hour workout a week and like four short minutes, and then slowly we're going to build up from there. Now, if it's somebody who is so funny because we were talking to your trainer, Jason, who's going to come on the channel this morning. We were just having like a preliminary conversation, and I asked him some questions about some questions we're going to ask him. And I'm just going to quote because he said, one thing I was wanting to talk about is the relationship with the teacher and the student, how you work with a student. And he said something about dealing with someone like Paula, and then if he had me as a client, he would be tougher on me, even though I've never worked with him before. He knows my backstory of being in yoga for so long. So he knows. So does that make sense? So if I had a student that hadn't worked out in a while, but at one point was an athlete, or at
Right.
one point was, I would say, okay, my friend,
You can
I
handle a bit
want you doing
more.
3 days a week of 90-minute workouts and then 2 days a week of 45-minute workouts.
Uh-huh.
Because even though you hadn't done it in a while, you know what this is. Your
Yeah.
body's because but the body remembers, right?
Yeah.
So the body
Oh,
remembers. So even though it might have been 10 years since this person was training, the body's going to go, oh, yeah. And even though they might be sore for a while, their mind is already going to start to wake up a little bit because they've already done it before. Does that make sense? But if it's
Uh-huh.
someone who's never, now we also look at weight as well. So if the
Yes.
person is maybe like 20, 30 pounds overweight, 5 pounds, they're relatively healthy. We're going to be a little bit more, we're going to be faster to get them into the harder workouts. But if I have somebody who's like 400 pounds, 500 pounds, first of all, I'm so proud of you for coming in and doing a workout.
Mhm.
I'm going to work them differently though, because we have a lot of weight on those joints. So we got to be smart about this. So you lose 1 pound of weight, that takes 4 to 5 pounds of weight of pressure off your knees.
Wow.
So when we think about how much pressure is on the knee,
Hmm.
what I'm probably going to do with them is a few days a week, I would do like 20-minute anaerobic stuff, but then most of the week I'm going to have them go on long walks,
Ah,
basic
okay.
walking.
Mhm.
And for long walks for them, that's relative, right? So a long walk for a 400 to 500 pound person might be a mile at
yeah.
first. But if that 400 to 500 pound person can walk 1 mile 5 times a week and do a couple 20-minute like basic stretching or like lightweight lifting, that body is going to shift. Now, you also have to remember too, the heavier you are, the faster you're going to lose weight.
Mhm.
So okay, let's not go as high as four. And let's say we have a 200-pound person. Let's say I have a person who's like 5'3", a woman who's 5'3", average height, but she's like 200 pounds. I don't know what that is in your language, Paula.
Yeah.
What,
In
what do you
kilos.
guys do? What do you do for your weight?
We do kilos in Australia.
So I'll tell you, 200 lbs to, okay,
Because I'm
let's
like,
see.
oh, I don't even know.
That's 90 kilograms. So let's say I have a
Okay.
90-kilogram
Uh-huh.
woman who's like 5'3".
Uh-huh.
That's not a healthy weight for her. That's too
No.
much.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
5'3" woman should be around 120 to 130 pounds.
Hmm.
So I'm going to get, okay. So as I said last time, I think really important, you're 200 pounds. We want to get you down to like 130 pounds.
Uh-huh.
That's not going to happen overnight. So our first step is to get you to 190 pounds. That's our first goal. So I'm going to help you with your diet. So you're only eating for a 190-pound person.
Hmm.
You're not eating for a 200. We're not going to go all the way to 130. We're going to slowly cut back the calories.
Hmm.
So we're going to take, that's like what, 200 calories. We'll take, one yogurt out of your diet. Yeah. And get you down to, and we're going to start working you. We're going to walk you. We're going to do some resistance training. Now, when you get down to 90 pounds, now we're going to look at eating like a 180-pound person. Cut a little bit more out, add a little bit more exercise. Now, for a 200-pound person, once they start to get into like the 170, 160, now I know that we're going to really up the ante with exercising because we've shed some weight, so there's not as much pressure on your joints.
Uh-huh.
So now we can lift the muscles more by doing more resistance training. You're probably feeling a lot better because you've shed weight,
Yeah.
so you're probably going to be feeling a lot more freer. Does that make sense? So we're not
Yeah.
going to just dive into the deep end. That's never going to happen. Like even in Ashtanga yoga, we don't dive. The craziest practice that I do of them all, we have a new student walk in. We're not putting their leg behind their head on the first day. It might be 5 years before they put their leg behind
Yeah.
their head. First day, we're going to learn the sun salutations. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I just feel like with any kind of extreme thing, whether it's in eating or exercise or anything, it just backfires. It just
Yeah,
doesn't work.
yeah.
And
I agree.
anybody that has done extreme dieting, for example, they just end up putting on the weight back on afterwards anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
And
just
that's
not
we're looking at a
realistic. You
life
can't stick to that.
we're looking at a lifestyle change,
Yeah.
right? Like I have a big sweet tooth. Now I'm Vata. Vatas can handle sugar a little bit better than other body types, but I eat very health. Like I joke about my love of Skittles, but I do eat foods that I'm looking at nourishing my body because I feel better when my body's nourished.
Mhm.
However, every evening I have a slice of pound cake
Mhm.
after dinner.
Yeah.
I'm not going to deprive myself. I eat super healthy all day. If we're on a road trip, I'm going to get a bag of ranch Doritos and Skittles from the gas station, right?
Yeah.
We're going to learn that
But I think
balance, right?
that's the perfect way to do it. Like, see, for me, I'm a chocolate person. So I'd rather eat healthy all day and then maybe just have like a little row of chocolate at the end of the day, you know? Just
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
just something small.
And there
But
is,
then you're giving yourself what you want. You're not depriving yourself, but it's about not having too much and not going
Yeah.
extreme, you know?
it's starting to feel better in your body when you're eating and you're all of a sudden, they used to say in Weight Watchers when I was a little kid, and I go with my mama to her Weight Watchers meetings, they would say nothing tastes as good as the way being skinny feels. Now, there is some truth to that. When you're feeling good in your body, when you're
Yeah.
drinking enough water, when you're eating proper foods, when you're exercising and you feel really good, you do start to recognize, well, if I eat this crappy food, I'm not going to feel good anymore. And when your
Yeah.
body becomes really fit and healthy, the body reacts really quickly to bad food. It's an instantaneous reaction because it's not used to getting it. But
I
as
felt
Paula said,
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but it's funny you say that because I've really cut a lot of bad food out. But I broke down last week and I got me some potato chips and some Dean's dip, and my body immediately was like, "Whoa,
Yeah,
yeah,
it doesn't
you
like
can't.
it.
This isn't
definitely.
good."
And
Yeah,
every once in a while, junk food is okay every once in a while and I will say too, when you get to your goal weight and you are exercising like crazy, it is true you are burning more calories. So there is a little bit, the more refined your body is, you do have a little bit of a wiggle room to be able to get Doritos and Skittles on a road trip. And you just have to learn like what is it you start to reevaluate things because what's worth it for you? Do
Yeah.
you want
yeah,
to eat a crazy, nasty for a moment that made that meal taste good at night, but then you can't get up the next morning and go for a run because you have a food hangover? Or
Hmm.
do you want to be able to get good sleep and get up and go run the next morning because it feels good to run and you feel good when you're done with the run? Like you start to weigh those. I do that all the time with myself, especially when we're traveling. I weigh my options. Like I'm in a new location, I can get up in the morning and go for a run and explore this new town and have fun and feel good while I'm here, or I can eat this really unhealthy fast food meal and feel like shit the next morning and not get to experience the town that I'm in and go and see and feel good, be clear-minded. So,
yeah,
but that changes over time. Don't expect that to happen, that revelation to happen like on the second day. Like that's gonna be a while in the making
Yeah.
of you changing again the patterning of your body, right? So I know you have to run in a minute, Paula.
Yes, I do. I have to head off.
Should we ask our audience for more questions?
Yes, please do. Give us some more questions. You can email them through to admin@fusionbodystudio.com or you can put them in the comments below. But yeah, we'd love to hear from you and help answer any questions you've got about anything to do with fitness and eating healthy and healthy weight loss and all of that kind of thing and
All
healing.
of it.
Mhm.
And what's Jennifer's code, Jennifer, for people want 20% off their first 6 months with us at Fusion Body Studio? What's your code?
Jennifer B.
Jennifer B. Put that in at checkout. You get 20% off your
Yeah,
first 6 months with us.
Mhm.
yeah, and yeah, it's a great. It's I love Fusion Body Studio. I've learned so much,
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
Even today,
Yeah,
I've learned so much
me
about how I
too.
can, I mean, just navigate things in your body and just have a healthier
Don't be scared
lifestyle.
of your body. Don't be, guys, do not be scared of your body.
Yeah, I think that's a
Settle
big
into
fear.
that sucker. Settle
Yeah,
into it. Get nice and cozy in it. It's your body. It's your expression. It's your Shakti. This is your Shakti. You created it. So explore it, be with it. And I'm so happy we get to serve you guys. I'm happy that I know all this stuff because I've had to deal with it myself, right? I've tried
Yeah.
to run from my own body. I've tried to disassociate. I've tried all of that. And eventually you just realize things go a lot smoother if you just settle into
Wait,
it and deal with it.
Yeah, definitely.
A
absolutely.
lot happier. So, all right, well, ask us more and Jennifer, create more questions and we'll be back next time with you more for you, Jennifer, because we want to hear from more about your story as well.
Mhm, mhm.
All right. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh,
Thank
thank you
you.
for joining us. See ya.
Bye, guys.
Bye.